We're saying that at the beginning of ancient Israel, we have the identical waymarks as at the end of ancient Israel. And the symbol of the covenant for ancient Israel was 2 tables. And the commemoration of those 2 tables throughout their history were 2 loaves. We've tied together the relationship of those things. We're doing this because we're going to show tomorrow that the symbol of the covenant for Adventism were 2 tables. Okay? But the law of God, the foundation of ancient Israel's history, what we want to emphasize now is when you get to the end of ancient Israel's history, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, they're fighting against the foundation and they think they're doing God's work. And therefore, ancient Israel is prefiguring modern spiritual Israel. So at the beginning of modern Israel's history, there's going to be a foundational understanding put in place. Once again, 2 tables. And when we get to the end of modern spiritual Israel in our day and age, the Pharisees and Sadducees of Adventism are going to be fighting against the foundational truths the same way that the Pharisees and Sadducees of that history were fighting against the foundational truth. Review and Herald, June 12, 1900. Christ, the foundation of the whole Jewish economy, stood before the Jewish rulers to be condemned by his own nation. He was the foundation. What was the foundation? The 2 tables. Was Christ the law? It was a perfect transcript of this law, of the foundational truths. And when he comes to them down here, they condemn him. They're condemning the foundation. Moses took the 2 tables of the covenant, the law of the 10 commandments, and descended from the mount. Confusion and shame on their account took possession of him, and he threw down the tables and broke them. As they had broken their covenant with God, Moses, in breaking the tables, signified to them also. So also God had broken his covenant with them. The tables whereupon was written the law of God were broken. Okay, those 2 tables, the law of God, that's the symbol of the covenant. Manuscript releases, volume 18, 174, his law, written with his own finger upon the tables of stones. What did Sister White say about this chart? This chart was directed by the hand of the Lord and it should not be altered. The 2 tables, written by God himself. His law, written with his own finger upon tables of stone, is the foundation of all truth. God's law is a transcript of his character. Christ himself, the foundation and the crowning glory of God's temple, became a rock of offense to them that stumble at the word. Yet that chief foundation stone, disallowed indeed of men, was chosen of God and precious. Though rejected by the Jewish builders, it became the head of the corner. Christ was put to death, but the work of the building did not cease. He was honored in heaven by the faithful on earth as the true foundation. Everything that these 2 tables represent was fulfilled in Christ. He was the foundation. He was the cornerstone. He was the foundation stone. And here the workers in this history, the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they're rejecting the foundation stone. And you may not remember the quote we started with. It says, the entire history of ancient Israel was written for our admonition, upon whom the ends of the world are come. So this history at the end of ancient Israel is a history that's illustrating the end of Adventism.